There is a time and a place where every angler wants to catch a really big fish of some kind. But there's another time and place when everybody just wants to get a bite, just wants to have action and catch fish. We're headed into that time. The summertime is a great time to take the family, the friends, even the kids out. Everybody gets to catch some. On this week's show, we're going to teach you how that's done and where to find them. It's going to be a lot of fun in the next half hour. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Sports South.
We're approaching the time of the year where summer is on the horizon. The weather is going to be warming up. The water surface temperatures are going to be warming. Kids are going to be getting out of school, and it's going to be time to go summertime fishing. Now, as that happens, there are several species of game fish around our region that become more difficult to catch, including largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, spotted bass, and some others. But there's another set of species that become much easier to catch. They feed viciously in the summertime hot weather months. They consist of the white bass, the striped bass, and the hybrid striper, which is a genetic combination of the two. On today's show, we're going to be talking about and teaching you where to locate these fish, why they feed, and some of the techniques that you can use to catch them at a lake near you. While we're doing that, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing report from our team of insider reporters with their latest from your area. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take the Nitro Z8 out on Lake Tawakoni. We'll use it as our demonstration tank today to show you some of the techniques to catch these fish that will work in your local area. So we get the boat launched, and right now we get you back to the FSN studio to get this all started with your weekend plan.
It looks like the best chances for landing fish over the holiday weekend will take place on Memorial Day. Peak hours will begin on Monday morning at 5:16 and again at 5:38 p.m. Sunrise will happen at 6:24 and look for sunset to occur at 8:25. And evening skies will feature a moon that is 32% visible. Stay with us for fishing updates from around the region. Plus, I'll return with 2004 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Gerald Swindle, for some advice on fishing in heavy grass.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
Hey, welcome back everybody. We're out on Tawakoni. It's still pretty early in the morning, and I found some fish on a classic spot. All right, that's a good one. Yeah, look at that toad right there. That's a good hybrid striper. Now, a hybrid is a cross between a white bass and a striped bass, and you can see they've got the broken lines on their side. And that is a gorgeous specimen right there. That's a good size, good quality fish. They are, as you saw, some of the hardest fighting fish in fresh water. So there's your hybrid. That's exactly what we're talking about. You let a kid tie into something like that and he can have a blast. All right, two places you can catch them to get in the right spots. Number one, early and late, early in the morning, late in the evening, and on dark, cloudy days. Look behind me. This is a long, skinny, brushy, weedy point back here. The key is it's a main lake point. It drops off into deep water on both sides and runs right out in the middle of the main lake. Those fish will run up there early in the mornings, herd shad up against that point and feed on those viciously. Then when the sun gets up higher, like it's starting to do right now, those fish will push back out into deep water. The other place you catch them is up in the day and all through the summer, deep underwater humps, ridges, points, and islands. Something submerged. Show you a couple of shots on my Lowrance HDS Gen 3, my brand new unit here. You need to find a spot that's got 30 or 40 feet of water around the edges of it and about 15 on top. They'll use the upslope of those ridges and humps to herd those shad up the sides, feed on top, and again, they can escape back to deep water. We'll talk about the why and the how coming up next. Right now, though, it's time for your local fishing and lake reports.
Although often known as the leader in foul weather outerwear, Stormer USA also makes the most advanced performance wear on the market today. Moisture wicking, UV resistant, incredibly breathable. Guys, check them out today at stormerusa.com and figure out how you can take control of the elements. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, all I can tell you is that the weather has been fantastic. It's been very stable, and the fishing in turn has been fantastic and very consistent. Most of the fish are done spawning. They are moving out from where they were in the shallower spawning areas to where they will eventually summer. There's this transition period. The fishing can be a little tough right now, kind of pinpointing them down because they're moving a bunch, but when you find them, they're generally schooled up pretty good. The bass, the offshore bite's the deal. I don't care where you are in Tennessee and Kentucky, the bass are really moving towards where they're gonna spend their summers offshore. The catfish, same thing. Most of the spawn is over with. There's still some stragglers up there shallow, but the biggest catches of catfish lately have come on main river channel banks where guys are drifting cut bait. Crappie are in roughly 15 feet of water, give or take a little bit depending on light penetration, and the panfish bite is all but over. Look, there's not a lot of recreational traffic right now. The weather's beautiful. It is a great time to be on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. We hope to see you. God bless.
We're still out on Tawakoni, Texas today, showing you how to locate and catch white bass, stripers, and hybrid stripers in the upcoming summertime months. Right now I want to show you one of the coolest things I've ever seen in fishing technology from Lowrance and Motor Guide. It's going to help us find and catch these fish. This is the brand new Lowrance HDS Gen 3 sonar GPS fish finder system. It's got a much faster processor, much brighter screen, a pinch to zoom screen, just like your iPhone or Android mobile device has, and it's got Wi-Fi built in, plus a whole bunch of other goodies, the latest and greatest from Lowrance. I've got it connected electronically with my Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor through a little gateway device. Now, these two units talk to each other, so I'm idling around out here off these humps trying to find a school of bait fish and stripers or hybrids, and I found a school right behind me. You can't see them on the screen now because I've already passed them by behind the boat. So what I'm gonna do is reach up here and tap the sonar screen to get control of it. Then I'm gonna scroll it back. Okay, there's that school of bait fish and hybrid stripers and maybe some stripers mixed in right there. So I've tapped it right where that school is. Then I reach over here and click New Waypoint, choose an icon. Now you can see right here, there's the waypoint that popped right up on my chart. That's right on top of that school of bait fish and game fish, stripers and hybrids, right behind it. The boat is here. You can see my trail and you can see the waypoint right there. Now I'm gonna come back over here and tap that waypoint. There it is, waypoint 367. I'm gonna tap that. At the bottom, I'm gonna say go to 367. Then it's gonna ask me, engage autopilot in nav mode. I'm gonna tell it yes, and it made a little red arrow right there going right back to that waypoint. Now, the trolling motor, the XI5, has just started spinning around. It's gonna take me right back to that waypoint. When I get there, it's gonna stop me, and I'm gonna be able to fish that school of fish from right on top of them. Let it get to the bottom and start a slow, steady retrieve. One bit at first cast, look at that. That should be a hybrid or a striper one right there. Oh, that's a good hybrid. Come here. I got him. Got him on a swim bait. There's a nice hybrid striper for you right there. That's a good one. Letting them go back. They're pushing those shad right up on that ridge, and that's how they feed. They'll sit out there in that deep water. They'll run those shad up on that ridge. They'll feed, eat a whole bunch real quick, and then they want that access back to that deep water. So you want to imitate something that'll look like a big shad, either a big threadfin or a gizzard shad. Look for those kind of spots. Run that graph back and forth over them like my HDS I showed you back there. That Wi-Fi trolling motor, the XI5 Motor Guide trolling motor, is an unbelievable advantage. Just put it in the water, let it go to that waypoint where we mark those fish, and immediately hooked one up. What a cool, cool deal. Okay, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from your backyard.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report. This week brought to you by Marshall's Marine. Located in Lake City and Georgetown, South Carolina, We're your bass boat leader since 1969, and for all your nitro and bass tracker needs and for family-friendly fun, visit us at www.marshallsmarine.com. And I'll tell you, recently I was talking to my good friend Jason Bennett up on Lake Murray about the smallmouth bite that is going on up there on the Broad River. I tell you, they're starting to move some water through that river, which turns those smallmouths on, and he's been in there doing some incredible trips. It's a float down trip, and while there aren't many public landings, you can get up to the beginning of the river start and float down to the next public landing. Also on the freshwater side of things, the shell crackers and the brim continue to be a go-to species back in the backwaters. Guys are catching some great numbers on beetle spins and also on those old good trusty worms. It's a great time of the year to get out and target anything, whether it's freshwater or saltwater. And speaking of saltwater, it's the Governor Cup Series time. Both North and South Carolina are contesting the Governor's Cups, which are incredible offshore billfish tournaments, both in North and South Carolina. This weekend we'll have the Swansboro tournament going on in North Carolina, and in South Carolina we'll have the Georgetown Landing Marina event going on. Also in the offshore side of things, that water temperature still increases, and the dolphin are making their move. Get out and get some of the Carolina gold that's available to you right now within 30 to 60 miles ashore to have a great day and fill that freezer full of some great fish. This has been your Carolinas Report this week, brought to you by Marshall's Marine. Fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're on Lake Tawakoni in Texas today, but we're talking about some striper and hybrid striper techniques that will work anywhere these fish exist across the South and Southwest. You can see just over my left shoulder, that's the Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor. I've got my little remote control here, and I've got it on heading lock. Now, we showed you that we located those fish along a deep ridge that comes up where those fish are feeding. And all I'm doing is using heading lock to keep myself going in a straight line along the edge of this ridge. It's an incredibly effective way, and I'm just throwing this umbrella rig out. It's working great. I've caught a couple of nice hybrids already. In fact, I'm showing you a couple of those here on my GoPro camera, and I'm just trolling it behind the boat with my Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor, and there's one right there. What a great way to catch these fish. It's so much better than casting. Casting is not efficient. This way, the bait stays down close to where those fish are, just above them the whole time. Now, I'm trolling about 1.6, 1.7 miles per hour on my Lowrance HDS Gen 3 units here. That seems to be the speed that these fish want. Oh, I've got two of them. Cool. Be able to show you catching two. One is looks like a big white bass, and the other is a hybrid striper. That's a white bass here, and a pretty good size one at that. And that's a hybrid striper right there, and a pretty nice sized hybrid there. Two nice fish right there on an umbrella rig on an incredibly effective way to cover a lot of ground. We're letting fish go today. You can also troll a big swim bait or even a spoon if you use that XI5 trolling motor. Control your speed and keep that bait at exactly the depth and just troll it across where the fish are located. Hey, time for you some more Fishing and Lake Reports.
This part of the program is brought to you by Maven Binoculars, a Wyoming company selling great optics at great prices. Maven Binoculars was given Gear of the Year award by National Geographic and offers a lifetime warranty for all their products. Well, good weather's brought really good fishing along the southeast coast. I was talking to Jake Marcus in Fairhope, Alabama, who fishes Mobile Bay a great deal. He was fishing with a buddy of his, Scott Coleman. They worked the eastern shore of Mobile Bay and they limited out, double limit on sea trout, up to about 4 pounds. Jake says it was kind of a slow going day, but they hung in there and they're catching fish almost every place they went using jigs. And then later in the day, they cast netted some menhaden pogies and used those under floats. Over in Mississippi, trout are in the bays. They're catching the fish on shrimp and jigs. They're also catching black drum in the 5 to 10 pound class around the bridges in the bays. A lot of people are using dead shrimp on the bottom, but crabs, blue crabs are a better bait. Take a quarter piece of blue crab, thread that on, and put it down with about a 1/2 pound sinker. Fish those around the bridges and you'll catch some fish that way. Offshore, the cobia continue to hit real well around the barrier islands for anglers that are chumming around the sandbars coming off the islands, then using live baits like eels or menhaden. There's also some amberjacks far offshore. Along the Georgia coast, Captain Wendell Harper in St. Simon's Island reports he's been having real good days on spotted sea trout during the higher ends of the tides when the water's real salty. He's catching those fish inshore around some of the creeks and the bigger rivers that drain that part of the southeast coast. Captain Tim Cutting tells me out of St. Simon's Island that the triple tail are in force along the beach. He saw 19 fish the other day that didn't catch nearly that many because that's the way triple tail fishing is. He also says there's plenty of sharks around, primarily blacktips and spinners. Well, that's it for the southeast coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Thanks for tuning in to the Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report. This week's action comes to you from Fly Fish Georgia Guide Service. Veteran guide Ken Edmonds puts anglers on shoal bass in the Flint River or striped and hybrid bass on the Chattahoochee River. Visit his website at www.flyfishga.com. Now, May is a good time of the year to do some river fishing in the deep south. Striped bass is one species you want to target in a number of these rivers. We're near the end of their spawning run, but many are still up in these flows. Today we're running up West Georgia's Chattahoochee River above the town of Franklin. Kent Edmonds will be guiding us. He's from flyfishgeorgia.com guide service, and Kent has several decades of experience in finding and catching these fish. Striped bass run on the Chattahoochee River up from West Point Lake on the Georgia-Alabama border, and they tend to congregate in the shallow, rocky portion of the river called Franklin Shoals. Using fly casting gear is a challenging and exciting way to catch these stripers. When conditions are right, enticing them is not difficult.
And it's unlike a lot of fish when they're spawning. These fish will eat right through the spawn. They eat on the way up, they eat while they're up here waiting to spawn, and they'll eat on the way back down. Pretty much anything looks like a bait fish is gonna work.
Now, farther down the river on the Alabama-Georgia border below Lake West Point, the stripers will also run upstream out of Lake Hardin. Now, this can be a year-round fishery whenever there's 12 hours of water release coming through West Point Dam. Now, over in Mississippi, you can also catch striped bass on the Pearl River just downstream of Ross Barnett Reservoir.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back. It's time for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Scott asks, when fishing matted grass, is it best to peg the weight or not? For the answer, we checked with 2004 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Gerald Swindle.
You know, if you're going to flip heavy vegetation, you want the weight to go through the grass with the bait and keep it all at one. If the bait were to separate, the bait would sit on the grass and the weight to fall through. We call it a pegging system. I use actually a bobber stopper. It goes up on your line. It's a little rubber bead, pulls on the line, put your weight on, tie your hook on. As you put your bait on, you can slide it all down. It keeps it very compact and it punches right through the mat. It's the best, fastest way to punch grass, and I promise you, the easier it is to get in the grass, the more fish you're going to catch.
Thank you, Gerald. If you have a question or something to ask one of the pros, go to our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your question. Now let's find out which big catch wins someone a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, it's time for someone to win a free pair of Costa sunglasses on our special feature each week called the Costa Catch of the Week. I'll tell you how you can enter in just a moment, but first, this week's winner is Jack Martin of Evans, Georgia, showing a 16-pound striped bass he caught at the Savannah River in Georgia. If you would like to have a chance to enter and win a free pair of Costas, all you have to do is go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. On the right side of the front page, click in that Costa Catch of the Week box, follow the instructions, fill out the form, be sure to attach your photo to the form, and you'll be eligible to enter. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website. Just go back to the front page of our website, click on the Costa logo. You'll see all of the frame styles and lens styles there, including the frame style I was wearing on this week's episode called Cat K. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, it's the right gear if you want to get out and do some of this open water fishing like we did today. And I cannot tell you how much of an advantage these two pieces of equipment give me. First of all, the Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor is absolutely amazing. It lets me anchor myself in one position out in open water without throwing an anchor overboard. It'll let me motor in a straight line. It'll let me follow the contour of a hump, a ledge, a ridge. It is absolutely amazing what I can do just with the remote control. And you saw me at one point fishing off the back of the boat while I had the trolling motor anchored at the front in one position. I was able to fish downwind off the back of the boat. You saw me catch a nice hybrid striper doing that. And it connects to the Lowrance HDS Gen 3 system, the newest, latest, greatest system. It lets the trolling motor, the Wi-Fi motor, and the HDS system talk to each other, and you saw me demonstrate how I can go to a waypoint and lock myself on it from the screen of the Lowrance HDS system. It is absolutely amazing. It's not cheap, but if you're willing to make the investment, you'll have the advantage over 90% of the other boaters and anglers on the lake. Recently, I watched the remake of the old classic film, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Now, this new version has Ben Stiller as the main character playing Walter Mitty, and he lives a very dull, boring, ordinary life, and he has these grand visions where he goes away mentally for a few seconds. People think he's crazy, but those visions in his own mind are always of something greater than his life actually is, something exciting, something extraordinary. Well, it just so happens that circumstances come along where Walter goes and chases some of those things, some of his dreams, some of those visions, and it actually works out. He gets to do some amazing stuff in his lifetime, and it has a great and happy ending. Well, I'm telling you right now that you have the same opportunity that Walter Mitty did. You can chase your dreams. You can chase some of those grand visions, some of those things that you always hope for. In fact, I'm giving you permission right now to go chase them. Right now. Go. Do it. Go. Hey, don't forget to watch our show next week. We'll be on in our normal time slot at 6 p.m. on Thursday with the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always get the latest episode 24/7 on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. And right below that, you can click on past episodes and more video here, and you can get all of our previous episodes, plus watch a bunch of cool how-to and product videos and demonstration videos in that same location. And don't forget to like us on the Facebook page, and be sure to follow us on our Twitter feed, because it's on Twitter that we give away lots of free gear. You'll also see the latest fish photos, fishing videos, fishing news that we don't have time for here on the television show. You can follow us, the Twitter address you see on your screen. I hope you enjoyed our episode today at Lake Tawakoni, Texas. You can take these same principles and techniques that we showed you this week back to your home lake and have fun catching whites, stripers, and hybrids all summer long. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.